Good evening, Ram fans, and welcome to the Monday Night Sports Show. I'm Cory Odom.
And I'm Maddie Warren. Cory, yesterday was a huge day in the sports world with Tiger Woods winning the Masters.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of crazy considering how long it's been. Like, he hadn't won in so long that most people, didn't even win at all during that time period, right? What were the years again?
Well, it was 15 years since his last major title, 5 years since his last Masters title. So he's he hasn't even won a general title since 2008.
Yeah, right, with the Masters in 2005. So with that kind of lull in his play, it's kind of impressive to watch someone kind of battle back, especially considering all of his personal issues that he had, especially because he had back injuries and he went with a different caddy. And his new caddy is a New York Giants fan. So really, all of the things for Tiger Woods are looking up.
Right, yeah, and for him, what's cool for me seeing is, yeah, his accomplishment was great. Winning the Masters is obviously amazing, but more than just the numbers, like you were saying, the comeback story. I mean, I grew up watching Tiger Woods, and he was sort of like the face and the name of golf. You didn't watch golf or know golf without knowing Tiger Woods. And so for me, watching him come back, despite what everyone was saying, everyone saying that he should retire, that he was, you know, washed up, he wasn't healthy enough to do it, and yeah, 3 back surgeries in 3 years is gonna be enough to knock most people out. But he's out here showing that at 43, there's no set age for retirement in that sport.
It's true. Tom Brady also agreed with that. But also, I want to talk about the other side of it, right? I don't want to take away from what Tiger did. But someone also lost the Masters, and that was Francisco Molinari. And he was 2 strokes ahead going into the day. And really, it was the double bogey he had on the 15th hole that a lot of people are blaming on a pine cone that it hit and caused to roll back into a lake. That's really doing it for me. But it kind of felt like his mental game wasn't as strong as Tiger's was. I think that might be the main reason as to why Tiger ended up winning it.
Well, and when you come in as Tiger did, I mean, he had a lot to prove. He had a lot of people against him. And so, yeah, the mental game is huge. And that's kind of just the way the cookie crumbles. I mean, especially in golf, it's like really anything can happen. A wind shift could knock you off the top. And so looking at Tiger's competitors versus him, it really was who could stay in it the strongest mentally.
Agreed.
Yeah, but not nationally televised, but still golf news. The Colorado State men's golf team is currently competing in Santa Cruz, California at the nationally televised Western Intercollegiate. The Rams are coming into the tournament ranked 46th in the nation, sitting them just 6th in the tournament field. With freshman duo Oscar Teifel and Davis Bryant ranked 7th nationally, CSU looks to follow up with another nationally ranked year and top finishes. The tournament will air on the Golf Channel live 3 hours a day for the next 2 days. After the first day of play, the Rams are in second, teeing an even par for the course.
To add on to the golf news, the Women's Golf Mountain West Championship is underway today at the Mission Hills Country Club in Rancho, California. After one day, the CSU women are firmly in last place with a combined score of 33 over par. That has them 12 strokes over their closest competitor and 25 strokes behind the leading San Diego State. Ellen Secor led the Rams with a team low 2 bogeys and a birdie on the 12th. She ended with a 5 over par. The Rams really struggled with double bogeys today, leading the tournament with 11. The next closest team had 6. Teammate Jessica Sloot came in second for the Rams today with a team-high 3 birdies. However, they were all in the front 9. The tournament continues tomorrow, where the Rams will look to bounce back and find some consistency at the end of the season.
Last place, Cory, that's a little rough, and I don't know what they can personally do to come back from that. I mean, yeah, there are 2 days left in play, but what can you do to come back from that much of a deficit?
Yeah, it's not that the Rams are in last, it's the fact that they're in last by so much, right?
Yeah, and in golf, that's really hard to come back from that much of a difference.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, Rams, that's all we have for you right now, but don't go anywhere because coming up next is Castro's Cut. Then later in the show, Triple J will have their picks for the NHL playoffs and the NBA playoffs.
Plus, Matt and I will look at some old faces from the CSU team that were back in Fort Collins this weekend. Don't go anywhere.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. but I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
How's it going, Rams? Welcome to Castro's Cut. I am Litos Castro, here to give you the rundown of what's coming up in CTV Sports this week. So, without further ado, let's get rolling right into it. We're going to start off with the women's golf team. They have the Mountain West Championships. They started today. Those will be going through Wednesday for you. As we heard from Cory, a little bit of a rough start for the Rams, but they will be looking to bounce back as they move into these next couple days for you in the hot state of California. And while we're on the subject of golf, let's tee it up with men's golf as well. Western Intercollegiate is going to be their first event this week. They started today as well and will also be going through Wednesday. That's also taking place in California. Teams can say hi to each other. It's a fun time, and it's on the Golf Channel. Easy peasy for you. Then, once they hit the weekend, Friday and Saturday, they'll be doing the Ping Cougar Classic in Provo, Utah for you. Big week for the men's golf team. We will keep you posted on how they're doing. Next, let's serve it up with women's tennis. They've got two matchups this week, Thursday and Saturday. First off on Thursday will be against UNC in their own territory, 2 in the afternoon for you. Then on Saturday, they head up north to Wyoming for a 12 in the afternoon matchup against them for you. Next, let's move on to the diamond with softball. CSU heading to Nevada for a 3-day series. We talked a little bit about it last week. They needed to bounce back after their win streak was ended, and they did. Came away with a series win this past weekend. They're going to look to carry it towards the Wolfpack. Thursday, 5 in the evening is going to be their first game. Friday at 2, Saturday at 1. Then, once we take a look at the other side of the bats for you, baseball team, they've also got some games coming up. First one, also on Thursday. We got a lot of mixed matchups coming up. Thursday is going to be their starting matchup against UNC. That game is going to start at 7 in the evening for you. Then once they hit the weekend as well, Friday and Saturday, they're going to be taking on Wyoming for three matchups against the Cowboys. First one on Friday is going to be at 5 in the evening. Then a doubleheader on Saturday. First game starting at noon for you. Then we finish it up with lacrosse. They've got one matchup, and it's probably the biggest one of the season for them. CSU versus CU. We've got a bunch of rivalry matchups coming up in all spring sports, and I am so excited, let me tell you. It's all a fun time. That game starts on Saturday here in Fort Collins at 1 in the afternoon for you. All right, Rams, you know what time it is. It's time for your top play of the week. Let's roll it. We've talked a lot about golf, and we're going to keep doing it. Look at this. Justin Thomas in the Masters. He knew it after he hit this. Look at this beautiful shot. It's rolling, and you already know where it's going. Right where he needs it to. Hole in one. I don't care who you are. That's impressive. I know I could never do that. Oh, that's amazing. How can you not love golf? How can you not love it when you see stuff like that? That's beautiful. All right, Rams, that's all I've got for you. But coming up next, we got the Triple J Pick'em Challenge with NBA and NHL playoffs. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Welcome back, Ram fans, into the Triple J Pick'em Challenge. I'm Jessica Mendoza, joined by Jared Stratton and Cory Odom, who is filling in for Jason Ortiz. Well, let's get started by taking a look at our rankings. So, last week, this is from the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship game.
Yeah. It was worth 2 points, and I clearly did not do well on that. Jason got the tiebreaker loss, and Jessica won it all.
I won it all because we all said they were going to score low, and then they went into overtime, and I got that extra point from that. So.
Oh, yeah, the overtime really brought that points up, but of course.
Well,
absolutely.
It's the end of the semester, which means obviously I need to come in and save Jason from last place. Last semester was a lot harder, but this time I'm only 1 point behind, and I think I can do it with these picks I've got prepared.
We'll see.
I don't know.
Well, to get started, let's start our picks from the Nuggets versus the Spurs game. So, Jared, go ahead here.
All right, so this series, it's honestly great coaches here. We have Mike Malone and Greg Popovich, so that's so much fun to watch. But I got to take the Nuggets in this one. I think talent can override experience. I know experience, a lot of people rely on that, but that's not really what you're looking at if you're looking at only playoffs right now. And they have the best bench in the league. They have so much to prove. They've never been to the finals. They've never won it. And they have so many players who can take over the game, such as Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic. Malik Beasley is a dark horse. And if Gary Harris is able to strap up on DeMar DeRozan better than he did last game, I think they're going to be able to shut him out.
Yeah, I got to agree with you here, Jared. Are you from Colorado?
No, I'm not, but I'm still not picking them.
All right, here we are. We're going to go ahead and pick the Nuggets tonight. You want to shake my hand there?
Yes.
Picking the Nuggets.
This is so weird. You guys only agree when I'm here? What is this?
I guess so. So, yes, they shot terrible in Game 1 of the playoffs, but I don't think that's going to happen again. I don't think we can see the Nuggets do that, especially twice in a row. I really liked how Gary Harris and Paul Millsap, they had some good little spurts there in that game, although it was just pretty ugly overall.
Spurts? You're already rooting for the Spurs myself.
I said Spurs, not Spurs.
Yeah, just 1 T away.
I do have to say, though, that Nikola Jokic, I think he almost was too generous with the ball. I know that's his style of play, but I would have liked him to see him take it to the hoop a little bit more. I think they were making some silly shots. They were taking their shots too quickly. So I think that once they sit down and watch their film from that game, they're going to see what all of us saw from that game, and they're going to definitely turn that around, and I think there's no going back for the Nuggets here.
All right, cool. Let me start my 4-point argument as to why you're wrong. All right, I'm picking the Spurs. One, it's easier to keep winning than it is to like come back, right? You already have a game plan that's proven to work. So they have less work ahead of them just to continue. It's all on the Nuggets to really change a game plan, right? Because to me, when I watched that game, it felt like everyone was playing the game that they wanted to play, right? No one was doing anything weird. There was nothing kind of crazy that was happening. To me, it looked like both teams were playing how they wanted to, and the Spurs came out on top.
I don't think the Nuggets are playing their game.
It's called adapting.
This was the first time they've been to the playoffs in a long time. They had those first game playoff jitters. I don't think they played the way they wanted to play.
What more do you want from Jokic when he has a triple-double? Triple-double.
Amazing.
He has won every game. That's no surprise.
Yeah.
You're helping our case here. You're asking too much of a guy when you have a triple-double and you still lose.
You could have got more.
Also, on April 3rd, when the Spurs ended up losing to the Nuggets, it's because they shot an 18% from behind the arc. And I just don't think that that's realistic of what the Spurs do and how they play. So I don't think you can bank on an 18% 3 points every time you play them. Plus, you know the Nuggets have the best home field advantage because of the altitude. So they're already one up in Denver, and that's before they even have the opportunity to come back and play in San Antonio.
Nuggets still have home court advantage in the playoffs, though. They do get more home court games than the Spurs.
Only if it goes to 7.
Which it might, and if it does, the Nuggets are going to win it. So
I don't think it will. I don't think it will go to 7.
She agrees with me. They're going to lose before 7.
No, I didn't say they're going to lose. I just don't think it's going to go to 7. Well, now we all have our picks for who we think will be the biggest upset in the NBA playoffs. So, Jared, why don't you tell us who you think will be the biggest upset?
All right. So for the biggest upset for me, it's right there. It's the Nets. The Nets, I'm so confident in them. I got in a jersey. Come on, let's show it. Let's show it.
There you go.
Really?
We got a D'Angelo Russell jersey for the city. I'm not holding up right, but still, there we go.
Trust me, it's
That's
from
how much
Brooklyn.
confidence I have right now.
You gave me crap for wearing putting an Oregon shirt up
Because
here a
they're
couple weeks
Oregon.
ago.
I'm choosing the Brooklyn Nets. I'm choosing D'Angelo
Look how many
Russell.
colors there are.
Yes, look at that.
Okay.
That's actually inspired by
You know they're playing
Biggie.
the 76ers,
Okay.
right?
Yes, and which they won, by the way. They won by a lot. They had 56 bench points. The 76ers 26.
They did.
The 76ers made shot a ridiculous amount of threes and missed a ridiculous amount of threes. And one thing that they're doing wrong right now, and I think a lot of people are seeing that, is they're putting Joel Embiid in. And he is injured, and you can see it. When you watch that game, his knee hurts so bad. He's like slugging around, and they're going to keep on hurting him, and he's not going to be able to last throughout those 7 games. So it's the Nets. The Nets are going to be that dark horse win.
All right, well, I have a little live score update for you. The 76ers are winning by 1 point at halftime.
Wow, look at that.
And Joel Embiid does have 10 points. He's played 13 minutes. I think he's doing okay. I know he's injured and he's not himself. I love Joel Embiid. If I wasn't a Nuggets fan, I'd probably be a 76ers fan. But
like
Jared just got us.
Almost all of his points from last game, 18 of his points from last game were from free throws. So
they're points.
Yes, there are points, but the thing is, though, he's not making the big impact in the paint, and they're able to bring out the people in the paint, especially the centers, and that's what the Nets are so good at, and that's what they're able to slash in the paint. They're able to bring everyone out and be able to slash in.
All right.
And if Joel Embiid does not have the athletic ability because of his knee, they're not going to win.
Wait, Jared, you're not
What
disheartened?
about Jimmy Butler?
Jimmy Butler? Okay. One player.
All right, whatever. For my big upset, I have OKC beating Portland. Portland has been swept in the playoffs the past 2 years. Yes, they won their first game. Okay, all right. But I just don't see them making it to round 2. OKC has beat the Blazers in all 4 regular season games this year. And this last game that they did win, OKC probably had the worst game of their entire season. Westbrook played bad, and Paul George also played terrible. They played awful, and I don't think you're going to see that happen again. And Paul George he started to catch a rhythm in the 4th quarter. He really did. We have some injuries, and they shot 15% from behind the arc. That is not going to happen again, and when it doesn't happen again, OKC's going to win. Okay,
I'm going to give you a little factoid real quick. Paul George, after that game, he said at times he was barely even able to lift up his arm because of his shoulder injury. Yeah. And if you saw the game, you could clearly see when he was on the court and when he was on the court but sitting on the bench, he had that massive thing on his arm just to keep it cool so it would not inflame more. Yeah. And longevity for the playoffs, similar to Joel Embiid, I don't not see that happening again for OKC, especially if they can't shoot.
All right, longevity, that's fine, but they will make it past the first round. That's all I'm saying.
Which, if you saw the game, though, they were losing by almost 30 points for almost the entirety of the game.
It was the worst game they've had all season.
It's pretty rough to be like, hey, every single player is going to play better this next game, though.
Hey, you know what? They're gonna. The first game of the playoffs can be tough.
Yeah, but you know what? First game of the playoff wasn't tough? The Nets. I'm also going with the Nets. I'm going with the Nets because this is why. Embiid, 33% versus his season average of 48, almost 49%.
That was an expensive jersey.
Yeah, it's on the ground. It'll be fine. But no, it's not on the ground. The Nets' chance of winning this game, and because the 76ers have only got 10 games with the starting roster right now. To be fair, they're 8-2. But here's the thing. They're not used to losing as a team. It takes a lot of getting to know each other to kind of overcome that kind of adversity, especially when playoffs are involved, right? So there's very little cohesion there right now. And I just wanted to bring this up, but the 76ers missed 13 free throws. And that was 31% of the free throws that they went for.
Well, good thing Joel Embiid was on, right?
Yeah, right? Without him, I don't know if anyone would have hit a free throw. So I'm thinking the Nets on a great opportunity for a lot of the reasons that Jared said. And I don't know if it's because the Nets are playing well, but it certainly seems like the 76ers are playing poorly.
Oh, all right, we're going to have to see. I can't believe you guys both picked the Nets. That kind of
the best.
All right. And finally, we have the NHL playoffs that are in full swing. So I have to know, who do you guys have winning between the Avs and the Flames?
Yeah, this game's also going to be really fun, especially because it's in Colorado. But a lot of these games, they're decided by the goalies. And I think if you're looking at the best goalie in the NHL right now, it's Mike Smith. He has a .947 all-time NHL best save percentage. So I'm picking the Flames in this one. Flames are going to win this one. And they also have an insane offense as well. They have the most goals in the NHL. So I think that paired with the best goalie in the NHL, that's a recipe for success and continued success throughout the playoffs.
All right. Whoa. Tell him where he's wrong, Jessica. Let him have it.
I'm just really disappointed because I shook your hand for being a Colorado native a couple seconds ago. I'm going to have to take it back, like right now.
Well, we have it on air, so you definitely did it either way.
That's right.
All right, well, I have the Avs going for this one. Nathan MacKinnon, he's really fast. He's super talented. He's definitely one of the best players on this team. He did score the overtime goal that gave them the win last Saturday. Mm-hmm. And Cale Makar, let me tell you, he's going to make his NHL debut tonight. That's super exciting. He's a great defenseman, and he's Canadian, so we know he's going to be great.
Yeah, that's it.
Calgary Flames. They're based in Canada.
All right, never mind. We take it back.
But he's a Canadian coming to Colorado, okay?
Yeah, that gives him bonus points somehow.
This series is tied 1-1. I don't know if you said that, but I think that the Avs are definitely going to have to capitalize on power plays. That's the one thing I'm really looking for here. So far in the playoffs, they're 0 for 8 in power plays. that's really one time that they can capitalize and score some more goals. So I'm really looking for them to do that for sure.
Not against Mike Smith.
So we now know that handshakes are bad, but fist bumps of agreement, there's no way that could go bad, right?
All right.
Oh, it worked. I'm also going with the Avs. I'm going to not talk about any players because that's kind of been established already, but I want to say that the Avs are coming in 7 wins, 1 loss, and 2 ties in the last 10 games before the playoffs. They're coming in hot versus the 6-4 of the Flame right now. So a little bit hotter going into playoffs as of right now. They're already 1-1 on the road, and as we talked about earlier with the Nuggets, I feel like Denver's got the best home field advantage for every single sport. So we've got the Avs coming home to play with the altitude against the Flame, which is going to be nice. And they were 0-8 in power plays over the course of their 2 games so far, which historically has not been the case at home. So I think that they're going to be able to play off of these advantages that they're facing with the power plays, and they're just going to get more shots on goal that way.
Real quick, I just want to hit on one thing you said real quick. First of all, I do want to say you can't tame the Flame. That's a patented thing by Maddie Warren. She said it. It was a great idea. You can't tame the Flame. That's what it is, the Calgary Flame. Also, though, if you're going to talk about past games, the Flames, they have never lost against the Avs this season up until that last game. And during the regular season,
they haven't lost until the playoffs.
No, during the regular season, the Avs lost both games they played against the Calgary Flames. So Calgary Flames,
just like how OKC hasn't lost to Portland all season. All right, Ram fans, that is all we have for this week. But head to our Twitter page right now to tell us if you're more excited for the NHL playoffs or the NBA playoffs. But stay tuned because up next, Cory and Maddie have softball updates and some highlights from the CSU alumni game. You don't want to miss it.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
What's up, Henry?
Hey, Julia. What's up?
What are you drinking your coffee out of this morning?
I don't even know.
Yeah, no. You should fix that.
It's uninspired.
You gotta get in this 905 club, let me tell you.
So if I donate $90.50, I can be part of this club?
It's got mugs, it's got shirts, and it's all dedicated to KCSU.
Well, I guess I'm going to donate to Club 905 because I support local college radio. What about you?
Strong pitching and active bats, this time on both sides of the ball. Welcome back from the break, Rams. The CSU softball team returned to Ram Field for their series against UNLV this past weekend. Friday's game held some disappointment for CSU, with Rebels junior Brianna Burke dealing the Rams their 6th loss of the season. Despite the Rams falling from their 5-run lead on Friday, they picked up their offense for their last 2 games of the weekend to take the series. Amber Nelson and Tara Shadowin both docked home runs for the weekend, each hitting 1 apiece in the same game on Saturday. Bridget Hutton was calm and collected in the circle, shutting down the Rebels' offense in the final game of the weekend. Hutton kept UNLV from advancing past second base until the 6th inning. After having their win streak snapped in San Jose, the Rams are back on the winning side of things and improved their season record to 31-6.
Yesterday, the CSU soccer team hosted some former alumni at the 2nd annual alumni game. The game started with some great ball movement by the alumni, and I feel like I need to preface that they are alumni because it looks like they still got what it takes to be on a college soccer team. We see some good ball movement, and then the cross up into the steel wall, the brick fence, whatever you want to call it. Next, we've got more of the alumni getting a nice look here in the middle on the offensive side, but sorry, no senior discounts on this field. Next, we've got ourselves a corner kick up in the air for a long time for headed out of play, but it was close. One of the best looks of the day coming in off the post. Oh, you can tell that they're laughing. They're having a lot of fun. Maybe it's to, hide the tears. Next, we've got more of the current team, and over the top, just cannot get it to fall. Well, that's not technically true because the CSU team did win against the alumni 1-0. After the game, head coach Bill Hempin spoke on the alumni game.
Well, you know, one of the things that you always hope for your program and for the kids playing in your program that they love the game. And obviously for them to come back and put boots back on, they still love the game. And you know, so if the younger ones or the current team get anything from this, it's like, look at how much fun these young women are still having being a part of the game. Even if it might be the one alumni game a year, they still look forward to that moment. And you know, that's something that I hope we can build on and continue to make this bigger and bigger and bigger for our alums.
Well, Cory, for being an alumni, I mean, like you said, they definitely still got it, but it's always so cool to watch old players come back and be able to play with the current team, and some of them played together and some of them don't even know them, so it's always really cool to see that.
Right, I think that even in that clip, you could hear the laughter kind of going around there, and that was just kind of the atmosphere that it felt like. It's just a lot of people just having a lot of fun.
Right, and that's what sports is all about, right? It's just about having fun. Well, Rams, speaking of fun, it's time for this week's Flip or Flop. We sent out this video of Gabby Smith from the CSU track team in the pole vaulting event at the Doug Max Invitational. And it looks good to start off with, but...
Yeah, well, we'll see what everybody else thinks about it, because to me, what do the people think?
Well, it looks like 70% think she goes over, which that's kind of where I'm leaning, looking at how the track team has been doing so far with all the records that have been broken. They seem pretty solid. Yeah. So I'm going to go with the 78% that's saying she goes over.
And I also like the background of that picture. You can see her over the bar.
Yeah, there you go.
I wonder what happens. Maybe she knocks it off right at the last second. But let's take a look at what really happens. It looks like she's going to run up with nice, it looks like it's about 45 degrees is what you want. Good plant, nice inversion, which is what you're hoping for. It's a lot of ab muscles there. And she does get over the top. Nicely done. That is some next level ab exercise that
so clean.
I was never able to do.
Oh, I couldn't do it. I don't even know how they like get up on the pole. Like I would hit myself in the face probably.
Yeah, a lot of practice indoors before going over things.
Right, yeah, of course.
As you might imagine. But Rams, that's all we have for you tonight. But to stay updated on sports throughout the week, be sure to follow us on Twitter at sports_CTV. I'm Cory Odom.
And I'm Maddie Warren. Tune back into CTV tomorrow for more news from the people you know and to see Jessica Mendoza and Tara Barrio bringing you highlights from the Doug Max track meet that we just saw that took place here in Fort Collins. Have a great night, Rams.